welcome to NOLA Stampin'. Today we're going to be doing a fun Best of Cluck card using the Stamp of the Month and the Honey Bunny paper. So the Honey Bunny paper is from Close to My Heart for this month. And I'm just going to go through it real quick. I love how bright and vibrant it is. It looks and sounds like it should be just Easter paper, but I like that it has like a bunch of different papers that you can use, so it doesn't have to be exclusively Easter. Same with the stamp set. So speaking of stamp sets, I used an additional stamp set for this card. It's called Simply Said, but it's a retired alphabet. It's just like a sans serif kind of font. And I'm going to show you my little quick tip on how to line things up. I always have problems with my letters being wonky. So what I like to do is take a piece of washi tape and just tape it backwards down, just like the two edges down on my work surface. And then I'm just going to line up the letters and so that the bottom part of the letter is on the washi tape and the top part of the letter is on the line on my work surface. So then that way everything is like lined up and not at all wonky. So then I'm just going to take my acrylic block and push down. So then that way it just pushes right onto the block, and then it's easy to just go ahead and like finesse anything that popped up weird, which nothing did because it is a fun way to do it. And then I'm just going to take a piece of 3/4 inch honey butter paper cardstock, and I'm just going to stamp that on both sides. I made 2 cards using this same kind of design, and I wanted to show you, like, they're just slightly different, but I used the same sort of techniques all the way through. Okay, so let's grab 2 and 1/4 inch circles. Well, you don't have to have 2. You can have just 1 if you're making 1 card. And I'm gonna grab the charcoal ink, and I'm stamping the grown chicken with the little chicks on it for the card front, and I'm just stamping it in the center. You could cut them out with the thin cuts that come with the stamp set, but I chose not to. I like the circle instead. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of pieces of the Honey Bunny paper. There are 2 pieces that are 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches by 4 inches. One that's 1.5 inches by 4 inches. So that pink one that goes in the center is going to be the wider one. And then the plaid / butterfly ones are going to be the 1.25 inch ones that go on the sides. And I'm just snipping off the edges in sort of a random pattern. And then I'm going to take and I'm just going to crumple them up a bit just to give them a little bit of texture for the ink distressing to go onto. So you could, if your paper isn't folding or crumpling up easily, you can always use like a little bit of water and sprinkle it on them. But I found that this paper was easy enough as it was. So I'm just taking a Ranger ink blending tool and I'm just going around the edges of each of the 3 pieces. And then I'm just going to go ahead and smush along the top of the sort of like crumpled up, just so that the ink sort of catches on the little folds and valleys and the crumpled up bits, just so that it looks a little bit more distressed. And when you lay it flat, it's kind of a cool effect. So I really recommend doing it. And I used the pink or the peach ink pad to do that. And so then we're also going to go around the edge of that chicken too, just to tie everything together. And I'm a bit of a visual person, so I need to lay it out to see how I like it first. And then I'm going to use liquid adhesive to put those pieces down just so that they go flat. I think that if you use a tape runner when you do something like this, then it's going to sort of like pop up a little bit. So like if you want the texture and the poppy uppy sort of bit of it to be there, I would use the tape runner, but I want everything flat, so and to stick permanently. So I'm just using the little liquid adhesive on my desk. So I like to use the big acrylic block and just sort of push down to make sure that everything's flat. And then we're just going to set that aside to dry for a little bit. And I'm going to put some 3D foam on the back of the chicken circle. And I went overboard with the foam dots. You probably only need a couple, but I figured I'm using up some of the shaker foam from like the shaker kits from Close to My Heart. So like it's a great place to use it. So Close to My Heart came out with these really cool outlined alphabet thin cuts. The letters are all about an inch tall, which is a really nice size, especially for cards and for scrapbooking. Unfortunately, they did not realize how popular they would be, and they've reordered a couple of times, and I'm not sure if they're going to reorder anymore because they are going out of business. So, but keep your eye out. They may order them again. They are very handy, and I love the size for card making and for scrapbooking. But it is hard to keep the outline around the letters. So what I found was scrapbook.com has these cool clear mats that are kind of like your Cricut mat. And so I just line all the letters up the right way on the Cricut, on the little, not Cricut mat. And then I use just a piece of washi tape and transfer it over. And it makes everything just transfer so quick and easy. So I use the acrylic block. I push down to make sure everything's adhered, and then I set it aside to dry a little bit. And then we'll just do the banner real quick. I wanted to incorporate the banner so that it was like best of Cluck, really close together so that it read like it was all supposed to be together. And I was worried that I'd gotten the chicken down too far. But then, like, I think it just goes over it too much. So instead, I'm going to grab another little piece of 3D foam, and I'm going to use that on the back and dovetail the edge of the little banner that best of is on. And I'm just going to have it all stick up at the top. That, you know, it is like the most important part of the sentiment. So I thought it would be great if it just sort of, you know, if the chicken was sort of standing on the best of Cluck to, you know, really drive home the pun. So I'm just going to use a piece of the 3D foam from the shaker pack and use it to pop up. It'll be the same dimension as the circle already is. So we're just going to have to trim it off on the side. And then I really love this zip strip from the honey bun paper. So I'm just going to use a little bit of tape runner and just have it on the top of the strip, the sentiment strip, and just use it on the sides. And so then I'm not wasting any of that extra paper you know, going underneath the circle. You know, I could just go all the way across, but I was like, oh, you know, I really like the little flowers on it, so I'm sure I'll use it in a couple of different places. So I'm just putting it on either side of the page and lining it up with a ruler so that the angle is correct on both sides. And then we're just going to take a piece of A2 card base, and I like to make sure that the edges are straight by having it up on my work surface and then attaching it using the tape runner. And then now all we're going to need to do is embellish it. I really wanted to use my clear embellish or glitter pen, but it is out of glitter, so I went to a gold one that I have. The gold one is much gushier than the clear, and so, you know, I just sort of used this scrap piece to sort of pull it out a little bit. I went through and outlined the yellow in the Cluck with the shimmer pen. And then I started to do a little bit of the chicken, and I remembered that it will, because I used the charcoal ink, it will pull that ink out and just blur it up. So I almost remembered too late, but I stopped myself in enough time. And then I just used the glitter pen on a couple little touches, just to give it a little bit of shimmer and shine when you're looking at it in the light. And then I'm going to grab the spring enamel dots, and I'm going to use 3 of them. I think because the base of the card is yellow, I want to use the peach color, especially since I use that distressing the pieces. That'll sort of tie all those colors together. So we're just going to use a triangle right there, and I think that card is done. So let's take a real quick look at it. I really like how it all came together. It's a little bit distressed, but still good. I did the opposite side using the pink peach in damask instead on the second card. And there's that stamp of the month, and I think everything came out really nicely. Well, I hope that this inspires you to make your own, and you can make it as is or make it your own. Just don't forget to stay crafty.